Hello and welcome back to the Style of Beauty Doctor here on YouTube. And in today's video, we are going to be doing my somewhat basic daytime and nighttime skincare routine. So keep watching. Okay, so a couple of things to know. One, this is not my bathroom. As grand as it is, and as grand as you may think I am. No, I'm just kidding. It's not my bathroom. I'm here shooting on location and was like, oh, this is a beautiful space to film my skincare routine. Another thing to know is that while you're gonna see a lot of products here in this video, I don't use them every day. One of my personal mottos is don't do the most when it comes to skin, and you'll see what I mean by that as I go through my routine. Now here's the thing with my skincare routine and my skin, right? A lot of you guys have just recently followed me and you're joining me on what is like a really great cycle of skin. My skin ain't always great. Like, as a matter of fact, I had to, all my life I had to fight. No, I went through a bout of recurring adult acne that kept leaving dark spots, and it took me about 6 to 9 months to get that all cleared up. So I know the struggle. Now my struggle may not be your struggle, but you know, it ain't all just, oh, just throw some water on your skin, you'll be fine. No, darling. She needs maintenance. Another thing also, I don't think I get this too often, but I got it once and I'm like, just in case anybody else is thinking it. Yes, I have had under eye filler, but under eye filler adds volume to areas where volume may have been lost due to age or whatever reasons. But it is not a miracle product. It doesn't all of a sudden clear my skin. It doesn't all of a sudden mean that I don't have to have a skincare routine or that the things that I'm using aren't effective. So let's get started. One of the first things I do, obviously, is cleanse. I make sure that my hands are clean, so, you know, wash my hands first. Lately, my cleanser has been the Olay Henriksen Truth Juice Daily Cleanser. I've been using this probably since maybe about January, February this year. But, you know, just your basic gentle cleanser. I went and bought a bunch of different gentle cleansers just so that because I was doing a lot of lives in quarantine, and a lot of people were asking me like what I use in my routine, and I was like, yo, I keep saying the same things over and over again. While I've tried a lot of skincare products like in my lifetime, I was like, oh, I need to try some new ones, so I'm not always talking about the same thing over and over again. And that's just like my own lifestyle as someone who talks about skincare for a living. You don't have to go switching up your products all the time unless, you know, there's an issue or maybe things have changed with your skin or things have changed with the environment that you live. So no need to go all crazy. Now, it's funny because when I'm filming a skincare routine or when I'm actually doing it, it looks totally different. Shout out to LA Beautyologist with a 60-second rule. There's a video on properly cleansing your skin that I did with one of my esthetician boos. So make sure you check that video out as well. But you know, I like to cleanse in the morning because, you know, I wear a lot of like moisturizers and other products, and I want to, you know, get that off my skin. Plus, I tend to sweat and roll around a lot when I'm sleeping, so I definitely want to get that off in the morning. Some people may benefit from skipping the actual cleansing process. Maybe they just splash their face with water and then move on to their sunscreen. That is not me. I must cleanse in the morning, otherwise my skin will be like... Okay, so I'm washing the cleanser off. Now, a couple of things that I want to talk to you about with cleansing. I cleanse my ears. Even though I tend to wash behind them in the shower, I cleanse my ears because lately I've been putting foundation on them because I've been doing more hairstyles where like they're exposed, and because of quarantine, you know, she could be a little richer in the complexion sometimes. So I put a little foundation on there just to make sure that everything matches since it's out. And then, where's my towel? Oh, excuse me. Then I gently pat dry. You want to be very gentle. Some people let their face air dry. I don't have that kind of time. I like to get in and get out, you know what I'm saying? So, there's that on that. Okay, next up, I like to use a vitamin C serum. I like to use a vitamin C serum during the day. Now, some of them you can only use at night, and then some of them you can use day or night. The one that I use from Olay Henriksen, the Banana Bright Vitamin C Serum, the type of vitamin C that's in here, you can use it during the day. And why I like using vitamin C during the day is because, you know, there's all kinds of free radicals and gunk and pollution all up in the air trying to just get at the skin. And vitamin C is a great antioxidant. So then I put on my Vit C. I'll wait a couple of seconds just to let that settle and you know, before I move on to the next step. Not every skincare product that you use in your routine needs time in between. Sometimes you can just kind of move quickly on. An example will be if you're using some sort of like hydrating toner and then you're moving on to like your hyaluronic acid or whatever hydrating serum that you use. You can put your toner on and then put your serum on right after that. Because when the skin has that dampness to it, certain ingredients are better penetrated into the skin. So, a little tidbit for you. Now, you might have noticed that yours truly did not put a toner on, right? Now, toner is a well-encompassing category that includes a lot of products. So you have like your traditional toners, some of which may be more on the hydrating side, and then you have your treatment toners. So I tend to use treatment toners, especially for exfoliation. I don't use them every day because I don't feel like my skin needs to be exfoliated every day. I use them maybe 2 to 3 times a week depending on what's going on. Usually in the summertime, I don't need to use them as much. And in the wintertime, I might need to go closer to the 3 times a week because of the way the skin self-regeneration process tends to slow down as it gets a little colder and as your boo gets a little more mature. But a toner is not a necessary step in everyone's skincare routine. Now, if you use a toner, like a traditional toner, by all means continue to use it. Now, back in the day, toners, like a traditional toner, was a necessary step because, you know, cleansers were more harsh and you needed that step to kind of bring the pH back. Cleansers have come a long way, so it's not 1000% necessary for everyone to use a toner. Anyway, let's move on to moisturizer. So moisturizer is something that changes in my routine from season to season. I live in New York City. On average, we get 4 seasons. Sometimes we get 4 seasons within a season. But now that it's summertime, I use something that's very lightweight. I've tried dozens of moisturizers, so if you want to see more of what I use for my oily skin type, I'll leave a link to my blog in the description box. But currently, I'm using the Daily Greens Oil-Free Gel Moisturizer from Farmacy. This was in a roundup of lightweight gel or gel cream moisturizers for summer that I reviewed here on the channel, so make sure you check that out. So I just kind of, it has like a nice cold feeling to it. It feels very refreshing. And it sinks right into the skin, hydrates without feeling heavy. I love it. When you're using a moisturizer like this, I tend to give it a minute or 2 for it to settle before moving on to sunscreen, because sometimes you can have like that weird interaction where it's like either it's pilling or it just don't play well. It just don't mix well. So sometimes you want to give a little time in between steps to let it sink in. I used to be put the sunscreen and the moisturizer type of girl because it was just so easy. And sometimes I use moisturizers that have SPF already built in. But over the years, I have grown to love like just having a separate sunscreen step, because I find that that allows me to make sure that I'm wearing enough sunscreen. So my sunscreen that I've been loving for a long time is the Olay Sun SPF 35 Shine Control. For those of you who have deeper skin and you're looking for mineral sunscreens, this ain't it. But I have a whole playlist where you can check those out because I've tested a bunch and I'm going to continue to test a bunch for deeper skin. And if you have no idea what the difference between a mineral sunscreen and what I'm about to put on my face, then make sure you check out that series as well. But yeah, I like a straight up sunscreen because then you can really control how much goes on. One of the issues with sunscreen is that people are not putting on enough. And which is why, you know, some skincare experts will suggest that you use a SPF of 50 or higher because, you know, even if you kind of half-ass it with the 50, at least you'll get somewhere near 30. But if you're doing a 30 and you're not applying enough, you could be getting like a 15 or a 20. So you want to be very generous. Typically for your face, you want about a nickel-sized amount. We all have different face shapes. I'll put a link in the description box to kind of give you an idea, because it's complicated, but it's not really, you know, because it's like how many inches or centimeters per per inch of face. I'll put it in the description box, but about a nickel-sized amount is what you want. And you want to make sure that you get into the hairline where your scalp may be exposed. I have a sunscreen oil that I use for like when I have braids. But yeah, make sure you really get that sunscreen in. And I like this one because it also helps to control shine. And it feels great, and it plays well with most moisturizers. So that's my daytime skincare routine. Then I would move on to my makeup. And if I'm going out, I'm gonna be out and about and I wanna reapply every 2 hours, I'll use a mineral powder sunscreen. I like the one from Peter Thomas Roth, and just kind of dust it over the face. It helps to reduce shine, and then I'm also getting, you know, my top up of sunscreen. So that's daytime. I'm actually putting on a little makeup just to demonstrate my nighttime routine. I was like, let me at least put something on so that you can see it coming off. Also, during the day, I also like to use the Ulta lip oil on my lips, especially right before I do my makeup. I'll put it on and I'll let it sit in my lips. If I'm wearing a gloss, I'll just put the gloss on top of the lip oil. But if I happen to be wearing a matte lip or like a liquid lip, I'll rub off the excess oil and then put that on top. It just feels good to condition the lips before, you know, I put on my lip color. And then on days where I'm not wearing makeup, I just wear the lip oil on its own throughout the day. This is not how I wear my makeup. I usually have my makeup like done, but I was like, let me put something on so you can see it being taken off. Which is funny because after I'm done with this, I have to go and put real makeup on so that I can, you know, do my filming for the day. But if I'm coming in at night with my makeup on and ready to do my nighttime routine, my first step is an oil-based cleanser. Right now I am well, for the longest time, I've been loving the Boscia Makeup Breakup Cleansing Oil. It gets everything off, including liquid lipstick, which I was looking for in my purse to put on so you could see how it comes off with the liquid lipstick, but I don't even have a liquid lipstick in my purse because I've been on a gloss kick these days. But you put this in your hand, dry hands on dry skin, and then you just massage it into the skin. I even put mascara on for you so you could see how it all melts off. And the reasoning behind an oil-based cleanser is that a lot of our makeup is oil-based, so like attracts like, and then it kind of just melts off, especially when you massage into the skin. It will even take off your liquid lipstick, which I think you should do as your last step, otherwise you're gonna get liquid lipstick all over your face. And then I rinse this off. I'm gonna go rinse it off. All right, so I rinse that off and I'm gonna move to the second step of my cleansing routine, and I'm gonna use a gel-based cleanser. If you have dry skin, you might use a cream-based cleanser. If you have combo skin, maybe you might use a foam cleanser, but I'm gonna use my gel-based cleanser. Now, I typically would just go back and use the same cleanser that I used during the day, which was the Olay Henriksen Truth Juice Daily Cleanser. But I've been trying some other additional gentle cleansers. Like I tried one from Versed, although the Versed one has peppermint oil, so I don't know how gentle I would say it is. It's gentle for me. It may not be gentle for you if peppermint oil is an issue for you. I've also been trying the Olay Henriksen Find Your Balance Oil Control Cleanser. This one's pretty nice, but this is probably not something that I would use year round. I would only use this when it's warm out here in New York, or if I remember when we used to travel. If I travel someplace warm, I may use something like this. But if I happen to be dealing with acne, like it's that time of the month and my face is like, you know, like I know it's coming, I'll switch to the Myriad Time Release Acne Cleanser, or I'll use the Neutrogena Classic Oil-Free Acne Wash. Again, I tend to stick with the same products, and then I'll switch up like my moisturizer as the seasons change, or maybe I'll switch up my treatment products depending on what my skin's doing. But my routine is pretty basic and the same. But let's move on with the second step of the cleansing. Now, if you notice, I'm being very careful with where I'm putting the product around my edges. I'll show you what I do for that in a second. But again, I'll go in here, I'll do it about 60 seconds, maybe a little bit less since I already did the oil cleanser. And we'll just pretend that that time has elapsed and then I'll rinse this off. So I'll take a Shiseido cotton pad. I love these, by the way. And just in case you were wondering the difference between these and the Chanel, I noticed zero difference, but the Chanel ones cost more. And then I'll take the Olay Micellar water. You know, I wanted to call this Ula because Olay, and I've been using some. Anyway, I like this in particular because it has this pump. And some micellar waters, like, I'm clumsy. Like, if it has an open spout, even if it has a tiny little hole at the top, like, I can get a little rambunctious and, like, drop it or something. See, like that? Even though I was trying to play, but then it actually really did lose control of it. So I like this because it just pumps. And then what I'll do is I'll gently go around to make sure any makeup that I missed, that I can get in there. Because you know what? This cleans so that we're not splashing a bunch of water around our edges, you know? And then my edges aren't always laid, so there are times, plenty of times, where I'm just like with the water. But this is a good saver if you know, caring about your edges and don't want makeup, hair, and oil and dirt build up around your hairline. I like to use retinol at night. Well, retinol you typically want to use at night. There are some that you can use during the day, but for the most part, you're using your retinol or your retinoid at night. And for the longest, I've been using the Olay Retinol 24 Nighttime Serum. Sometimes I'll skip the serum and just use the Olay Retinol 24 Moisturizer. But I've also been trying out the Neutrogena Rapid Repair, this is a long name, Rapid Wrinkle Repair Regenerating Cream. And this one isn't the fragrance free. Oh, this is the fragrance free. Sometimes I like fragrance free, it depends on the product. I've been trying this out since maybe like February, March. This is pretty good. Like, you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on retinol. And over-the-counter retinol, they don't have to tell you what percentage is in there. But you can maybe kind of take a guess by looking at the ingredients to maybe kind of get a gauge of the percentage. But your retinol doesn't have to be some crazy high percentage. As a matter of fact, if it's your first time, you definitely want to start out with something very gentle and then work your way up. So you don't need a whole bunch of, because here's the thing, here's what retinol does. It helps to speed up the skin's self-repair and self-regeneration process. So you don't want to do too much. And I have a video on if you're on prescription tretinoin, which is a prescription retinoid. And then I also have a video on the difference between retinol and retinoids. So check that out if you want some more info. Now, another thing that I will do day or night is I'll add an eye cream. Now, eye creams, you know, I like them because, you know, it's for the eye area. Some of you might have moisturizers that you can just use in that area, but sometimes if your moisturizer has certain ingredients in it, you may not want that around the eye. That's my train of thought. So I just like to go in with a little eye cream. This one is from Strivectin. It's the Anti-Wrinkle Intensive Eye Concentrate. But I usually, if I do the serum, then I'll go in with my Olay Microsculpting Cream Fragrance Free. This has been my jam for the longest. Since it's warm out, I'm using this at night. But when it gets colder, like let's say fall, winter, sometimes I could wear this in the springtime. It's not a very heavy moisturizer. But it's got vitamin B3, aka niacinamide. It's got hyaluronic acid. It's got a great price tag. I've worked with Olay a lot, as well as Neutrogena, and I'm glad because before I was spending so much money on, you know, pricey moisturizers, and I realized like this works just as well as a moisturizer that I was spending like $100 on, and this is like 20 bucks, you know? Sometimes they send it, sometimes I can't wait for the mail and I'll just go buy it myself, and it's like 20, maybe 22 bucks on Amazon, right? Okay, so a little breaking the fourth wall kind of thing. It's actually daytime when I'm filming this, and I actually have things to do after, so I put my daytime moisturizer on, but you know, obviously this would be where my moisturizer stuff comes in. And then my Ulta lip oil, because oh, it just feels so good. But I still have a couple of things to talk to you about because there's some things that I alternate in my routine. So about 2 to 3 nights a week, depending on the time of year. In the summertime, it's closer to maybe 1 to 2 times a week. In the winter, maybe closer to 2 to 3 times a week. I like to exfoliate. Sometimes I'll do a physical exfoliant with my Clarisonic. Rest in peace to the Clarisonic company who is no longer in business. I know some people are, you know, funny with like the Sonic brushes, but I like them. I didn't use them very often because, you know, you use them too often, it could, you know, mess up your skin, tear it, and all that other stuff. But I liked it for my little 1 to 2 times a week, or as I needed it, but no more than maybe 1 or 2 times a week. But anyway, I like to use a chemical exfoliant. Now here's where toner, again, is like this big encompassing category, because you can also have chemical exfoliants that are toners. Now, me, myself, personally, I only use these exfoliating toners, these chemical exfoliants, any kind of exfoliant, only a few times a week. It's not necessary to exfoliate your skin every single day. As a matter of fact, over exfoliating can lead to other issues. You can irritate the skin, you can cause little tears that can cause further irritation. You can cause, you know, like the little micro cuts and then like ouch, and then introduce bacteria and cause all other issues. And then with us with deeper skin tones, us with melanin, that kind of irritation can lead to hyperpigmentation. So it's just like stop doing the most, right? So on nights when I'm going to do my exfoliator, I'm not going to use my retinol. Now this is a gentle retinol, and chances are maybe nothing will happen, but I'm not taking that chance. So lately I've been using the Verse Weekend Glow Daily Brightening Solution. This has glycolic, lactic, azelaic, and kojic acid. Glycolic acid can be a little irritating for some, but I kind of like this one. It's not irritating on me. But at the max, 2 to 3 times a week, and then I don't use my retinol products when I use this. And then I also bought, I kind of tried it just to like try it on my skin, but I haven't like used it. And I bought 2 of them. I bought the Lotion P50 as well as the Lotion P50 Pigment 400, because I was like, do I want the one for hyperpigmentation or do I want the regular one for oily skin? And then I was like, well, let me just buy both and then I'll figure it out when it gets here. So I still haven't figured out which one I kind of want to rotate into my skincare routine. I don't know. And it could also be wind up being something that I bought to try out that collects dust, because that also happens. But then on the nights when I'm exfoliating, then I'll move on to my moisturizing step. Now here's another scenario. Say I, you know, having some issues with acne. It's that time of the month. The hormones are acting up. I also may go in with the Murad Acne Control Outsmart Acne Clarifying Treatment. The links to everything mentioned will be in the description box, because these are like mouthfuls. But I like this. It's 1% salicylic acid. I like a lower dose of salicylic acid helps to, you know, curb acne and future breakouts. But if I have like a stubborn, like sometimes I'll get a cystic pimple on my nose. I recently picked this up from Target, the Neutrogena Rapid Clear Stubborn Acne Spot Gel. This has benzoyl peroxide, which can be a bit drying for some people. I know I wouldn't use benzoyl peroxide every day, and plus benzoyl peroxide doesn't play well with a lot of ingredients. But anyway, I'll use this as a spot treatment, like if I get a cystic pimple. I don't use this very often, but sometimes it comes in, and when it comes in, I use it at night. So my skincare routine essentially is in the morning, I use a gentle cleanser. I use my vitamin C serum. My vitamin C serum also is a multitasker because it helps to, you know, fight the pollution. It's an antioxidant, but it also has hyaluronic acid, so I'm getting my hydration. Then I'll go with a lightweight moisturizer. Now this is in the summertime. In the fall, winter, spring, I'll use different moisturizers. I'll go in with my gel cream moisturizer. Then after that, let that sit a little bit, and then I'll go in with my sunscreen. Make sure that I get that all over the face. Now for my body, I use a body sunscreen. That's a whole different, you know, process. Well, I did talk about that in a summer body video, so check that out. Then at night, it gets a little bit more involved because if I'm wearing makeup, I'm going to do a double cleanse. Then I'm going to most nights I'm going to, right after that, go in with my retinol serum and then a moisturizer. Some nights I might just go straight to my retinol moisturizer, like if I just can't be bothered. Then I alternate, maybe 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 times a week. I'll use a chemical exfoliant, typically through a toner. Put that on my skin, but those nights I do not use retinol because I don't want no smoke, okay? I try to be as gentle but as efficient as possible when it comes to my skincare routine. And then when I deal with my skin, depending on what my skin is giving me. So if my skin is giving me acne, I'm giving it back acne treatments. And then products switch out throughout the seasons, like I mentioned before, and you know, as things change with my skin. But basically, I like to fight all of the free radical damage during the day with a vitamin C serum and sunscreen. And then at night, I kind of like to, you know, just fortify and strengthen with some retinol. So yes, that is my skincare routine. If you have questions, please leave them below. I'll also leave links to everything that I mentioned here in the video and other videos and blog posts so you can get some more information. So make sure you check that out. And I'll see you in my next one. Follow me on social. Bye guys.